Well, thank you everybody today for joining us on how to get people to attend your webinar or conference here on the BigMarker platform. I am Joe Yeoman right down here. I'm a community hero here at BigMarker. We're also joined by Andy Papier. He is also a community hero at BigMarker.com. So you can chat questions to him and Andy will respond, and I will be hosting the presentation. So we are staff members here at BigMarker, and we host a lot of webinars and work with people hosting webinars. So over the last few years, we have come up with 5 easy ways to increase traffic or to grow attendance to your webinars or conferences. So here are a few pre-steps just to know before you go into even hosting a webinar or even thinking about growing your webinar, is to look at scheduling. So you'll need at least 2 weeks to promote your webinar. For example, we had a gentleman here on BigMarker who created a webinar a month out, and he already has 105 people who have registered for the webinar. And that whole month has given him time to plan, promote, tell people about it, and really put forward the webinar to get people to attend. So for you, you need to think about where you schedule and how far in advance do you schedule so that you can get people to attend. You also would want to think about finding out what time of day the webinar would work best for your potential attendees. So, for example, a lot of people prefer to attend webinars at work if the subject matter deals with work-related subject matter. So if you're hosting a webinar on marketing and how to improve your marketing for your website, during the day would be great for people to attend, just because people will take time out of their day to attend to learn more about the job skills for them. If you're hosting a webinar on something related to a hobby or somebody's personal interest, sometimes at night works the best so people can attend after work. Then we also suggest selecting a co-host. For example, Andy is my co-host today. So when you have a co-host, it helps you basically shoulder the burden. It helps you with divisions of labor. Andy can help me promote on Twitter. I can help promote on Facebook. We can both promote together. And then the co-host and you, it makes it easier over time to promote the webinar and then to host it during the webinar. So we suggest selecting a co-host as well for yourself. So these are the 5 ways to increase your attendance to your webinar. We have number 1, improving your invites. Number 2 is promoting through your website. Number 3 is alerting the press. Number 4 is milking social media and other sites. And number 5 is taking advantage of the BigMarker platform. So improving your invites. So one of the main ways that you're going to tell people about your webinar is to send them an email invite. You can do this through your own newsletter platform. So like ExpressVision or MailChimp. You can create your own invite to send off to your contact list, to your friends and family, to pretty much anybody you think would want to attend. So your biggest source of traffic, one of the biggest sources of traffic, is going to be through these invites. You want to make sure that you build your invites correctly so that when you do send out 1,000 invites, you can guarantee that 500 get clicked, etc. So these are the few tips that we have. Is keep the beginning short. Most people skim through their emails as fast as possible. So right up front, it should be the what, where, when, and why. So why does somebody attend? Who should attend? What is this going to be about? What link should they click? When will it be? In the email, you should also think about having at least 3 clicks, 3 links, or 3 calls to action. So you want to tell people to register at the beginning, the middle, and the end. So if you do have a longer email, there's 3 places they can do that. That is mostly because most people now are reading a lot of their emails on their phones and on their tablets. So if you have the 3 clicks, it makes 3 links, it makes it easier for them to click depending on where they're at in the reading of the email. So if they're all the way at the bottom, they don't have to scroll up to click. There's just a link right there for them. I know it sounds like overkill to have 3, but it does work. We also suggest including your bio or the co-host's bio and a picture. This humanizes the event. A lot of people are inundated with tons of webinar invites every day. So you want to make yours stand out a little bit. And this is an easy way to do it. It's just to include those photos and that bio so it makes it look like, a human being is actually hosting this compared to a robot. We also suggest avoiding a lot of graphics. This is for spam filters. The more graphics you have, you typically get called off on spam and caught in the spam filters. We also, if it is a free event, you should use the word free throughout the copy of your newsletter or invite. This just lets people know that it's free, so there's very few barriers to entry for them to join. I know free does trigger certain spam events, but it's worth it putting it in the body of the text to let people know that they will not have to pay for anything to attend this event. So here's a sample newsletter or invite that you can create. So this is one on the BigMarker platform that we're creating. So this is, you're invited to SaaS acquisition. SaaS companies, are you segmenting your customer acquisition channel correctly? ? So there's our title. Gives people to know what the webinar is a little bit about. We have the time, and then we have the where to RSVP right here in the first 3 lines. You have the who, what, where, when, and why, basically. And underneath that, we have the speaker's bio, their picture, a little bit about the event, why they should attend, another reserve your spot for the 3. So that allows people the ability to reserve their spot very easily. It's a very clean email. So when you're building your emails, you need to think about all of these different things to build them. Number 2 is promoting through your website. If you have a blog or a website, you should definitely be posting and promoting your event through that website. The single best driver of quality traffic to your event is through your website. Most of the people that are on your website or on your blog are actually interacting with your content and your material, so they are more likely to attend your event than just some random person on Twitter or Facebook who sees your event. So you definitely want to promote through your website. You should be posting links. You should have pictures of the event. You should have very easy ways for them to register for it. Links back to the conference page, etc. So for example, we take a look at Kissmetrics. So they are a pretty famous company when it comes down to their metrics. They host webinars almost, it seems, every day or every other day. And on their blog page, there's a whole section for just their webinars. So they have a section on their blog. They have a very popular blog. You can read through it, and then constantly they're linking to their webinars. So not only are they sending out invites, they're also linking to their webinars in ways that you can register for them. So you can see on their blog that these are all the things that are upcoming for them to actually go to and register. So from there, they can drive quality traffic to that. So these are perfect leads for them to actually sign up for the webinar. You're on their site, you're on their blog, so you know that these people are looking for their content, so why not give them the link to the webinar? Alerting the press. So your webinar is an event, and you should let journalists and bloggers know about this. This is why you give yourself the 2 weeks to a month to attend and promote it, because this gives you the time to actually alert these bloggers and journalists about the event. So most blogs, if we're speaking about blogs themselves, need content, and most bloggers don't have the time or the energy to come up with content constantly. So it's easy to reach out to them and tell them about your event and see if there's something that they want to do to help you promote it if they want to write about it. You can also consider writing a guest blog. So this is when you offer the ability for you to write about your expertise as the subject matter for a guest blog. So again, if you were doing a marketing blog, if you were doing a marketing webinar, you could email a couple other marketing bloggers and ask them if you can write on their site about a specific type of marketing, and then include links to your webinar as well. Find out more here. This again can lead to quality traffic to your site and to your webinar. So for example, here is Iowa State University. So this is actually a university website, is including links and different postings about farming webinars. Iowa State's pretty famous for their agricultural department, and they include here webinars that people who might be interested in their extension and outreach program, postings to webinars that people can attend. So again, when you're looking for websites, don't always necessarily think that the top ones, for example, Docker, are going to post about your webinar. You can start thinking about other places to look to, even including university websites, smaller blogs, etc. Because all of these links will definitely help you grow your webinar. And the nice thing too is afterwards, so 2 years down the line, this blog still exists. And if your webinar is already done, this will still funnel traffic to your recordings, to other places to sign up, to more things about you. Milking social media and other sites. So obviously you've sent invites, you've told bloggers, you put it on your own website. Now there are millions and millions of people out there on social media that you can start using and start contacting with and start helping to funnel to your traffic. Just traffic to your site. Your webinar. Just know that social media can be pretty fickle, and it's not necessarily the best place to promote webinars, as the 3 ones before this are better places to promote your webinars. So you want to know that going in. So Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, etc. should be your 4th or 5th promotion option and promotion channel compared to some of these other ones. So right from the beginning, you should definitely invite your friends, family, colleagues. You want to get as many people to sign up to your event as possible to begin with. It's a lot easier for members and attendees to sign up for an event if they see other people are going. So these are easy people you can get in. Again, nobody really wants to be the first person at the party, but your friends, family, and colleagues will probably be the first ones there. That's fine. And you get them to sign up, and then that'll show that you have 10 people that are willing to go, so it makes it easier for other people to start signing up as well. Obviously, post about your webinar on your own social networks. And then you should also think about the social networks where your attendees actually are. So if it's an accounting webinar, consider LinkedIn. LinkedIn is very heavily used by professionals. So if you're doing a professional webinar, you would want to post it about it on LinkedIn and in the LinkedIn groups. If it's a daycare webinar, consider Facebook. There's a lot of people that are families and mothers on Facebook, so it's an easy place to find that type of group there. So here's some popular social networks to try out. We've had success with most of these. LinkedIn we find to have a lot of success just because, again, if you're hosting a professional webinar, there's professionals on there. You can join the groups, you can create an event for it, and it usually works pretty well from there. So here's an example of Twitter. So people on Twitter are just using hashtag webinar or even just putting in webinar, and there's just already so many people on Twitter promoting their webinars. So people are using social media to promote their webinar. Again, this is why we said earlier with the invites, the posting to your own website, and also alerting bloggers about it and trying to see if you can get your event on blogs becomes a little bit better, because you can see how many people are actually on Twitter promoting their webinars. This is a lot of people. So you're competing with all of these people for everybody's attention on Twitter and on Facebook, etc. So other sites, so you really want to get creative with this. There are a lot of other sites out there that aren't necessarily social media that you can use to promote your webinar and help lead traffic to the webinar. So we suggest posting your slides on slideshare.net. It's free to do that. It's public. Anybody can find it. The nice thing about that is you can post them the 2 weeks, a month before, and it does funnel traffic to your webinar. And it also puts up the slides there too, so people can learn more about what you're actually promoting, your name, your email, etc. Think about creating an Eventbrite event. So on Eventbrite, you can actually create these events and invite people to them and have a page there where people can surf around it. You can also do the same thing for Facebook as well. Join the right LinkedIn groups. So there's tons and tons of LinkedIn groups right there that you can join. Again, you can join, if you're doing an accounting webinar, you can join an accounting group, and then let people know in that group that they can attend your webinar if they'd like, or if they are co-hosting, etc. If you need to co-host, you can ask in there. We also found this other website, telonline.org. It's just a culmination of different webinars, and you can post there for free. The traffic from there is probably going to be minimal, but one sign up by posting it today, taking 5 minutes to post there, and if you get one sign up for it, it was definitely worth it. So taking advantage of BigMarker. So obviously BigMarker is a space where people go to connect. So you can use BigMarker to find like-minded people and those that share your passions and interests. So BigMarker, we're building a platform of communities where people can get together and host webinars and meet face-to-face. So when you're using your BigMarker community, you have the ability to share what you know and love through these webinars, and then other people can find them on our site. So on the BigMarker home, we do publish upcoming public video conferences, webinars, and recordings. So anybody that's looking through our site and going through event categories can see all of our upcoming events. So you can actually search through them, you can see what's coming up here and actually join. You can watch the recordings afterwards. So this gives you a place for you to also promote your webinar when you're creating it on BigMarker, is that we have the ability to have you see and have other people see your events that are coming up and past events. Also, too, is joining your community. We've really built BigMarker as a way for people to come together inside the community after the event or before the event. So on other sites and other services, what happens after people have attended your event? On BigMarker, they join your group and can join your groups, join your community. So this means it's easier for you to find your attendees in the future, and it's also easier for them to find your material in the future. So if you're hosting webinars every month, your community becomes a place that people can join. So you automatically now have a list of attendees to build off. So you're building your audience on BigMarker. So if you get 1,000 people in your community, you can guarantee that you'll have probably 100 people at your every webinar without having to send out an email or anything. So that's why you would use BigMarker to host your webinars and to also build your audience. Again, that's the end of the presentation. It was hosted by Andy Papier and Joe Yeoman. These are our 5 quick steps. This slides will be posted on YouTube and slideshare.net later today, so feel free to come and visit us there. Again, you can follow us at these different places: our Help Center, our blog, our BigMarker YouTube channel. You can now publish your webinars to our BigMarker YouTube channel. This will be published on there today. You can also find us on Facebook and Twitter. And now I'm opening up the floor to any